Thank you. Oh, go this way. Hi. One of my favorite quotes is, before you can lead others, you must first learn to lead yourself. Before we lead others, we must first learn to lead ourselves. And the reason I like that definition is because it makes leadership both interpersonal between people and intrapersonal within ourselves. And so I want to share with you a symbol that you might be very familiar with, once I figure out the clicker here, of Wi-Fi, right? We think about the Wi-Fi connection. For those of you that this might be unfamiliar to, think about dial-up was before that, okay? Before dial-up, believe it or not, there were books that we sought information from. But now we see this symbol and we think about connection. We think about knowledge. We think about relationships. We think about full potential, right? And I think that all of those words also relate to leadership. But what's interesting about this symbol is that the beginning of the symbol you can see is a dot. And I'd like for the rest of our few minutes together to think about that dot as you, as the individual. Before we can have those bars continue to fill to full strength, that dot has to show up. We have to show up. And we need to know what it is that we bring to the table and what strengths and skills that we have, so that then the rest of our team can fill out the rest of our fullest potential and connect and access information and build relationships with others like we would like to through this Wi-Fi signal. One of the ways that we use here on campus to help others learn about themselves is a model that was done by Kouzes and Posner, James Kouzes and Barry Posner, called the Leadership Challenge. And they identified through studying groups across the country for many, many years, 5 practices or behaviors that were crucial for that group to be successful. 5 things that had to happen over the course of that group's lifespan for it to be able to meet its goals. And these 5 practices are very easily understood, and I think that's what makes the model so helpful to us. And as I explain what they are, you'll probably think that makes a lot of sense in your head. The first is model the way. And so model the way folks are those that believe that these values that I have are important, and they're important in every single walk of my life. These values are important to me at home, at work, and within whatever groups I might be affiliated with. And I'm consistent amongst all of those. These people know what those are, and they share those with other people. The next is challenge the process. So these are the folks in a group that are willing to and naturally able to think, well, yeah, we did it that way last year, but maybe there's a better way. Or yes, this is working, but if we were to just tweak a couple of things here or there, it would be so much better. They're not happy with the status quo. There's always an opportunity for us to do bigger and better. The third practice is inspiring a shared vision. And these are the individuals in your organizations and groups that are quickly able to listen intently and say, you know what, you just said this, you said that. If we combine those and tweak them, we can go even further. And we can take our ideas to this vision that is going to propel us forward. And so these inspiring a shared vision folks are quickly able to come up with these ideas and translate them in a way that makes everyone get on board quickly. Enabling others to act are folks that understand that we all bring skills to the table, and they leverage them to allow for us to meet those goals. So they'll be able to acknowledge that someone over here might be really good at details. So you can have the detail work, and you can help us move that forward. Someone over here might be really good at building relationships. So that's your job. Help us build those relationships, and not vice versa. And so enabling others to act both understands what people bring to the table, and then assigning them or empowering them to do those jobs to help move the group in that direction. Our last practice is encouraging the heart. And encouraging the heart are those folks that recognize the importance of a pat on the back, of a nice thank you note, and celebrating our small accomplishments towards that bigger picture that we've established. So encouraging the heart sometimes feels not as important as the others, but I think we all can recognize how good it feels when someone praises the good work that we've done publicly, or gives us that nice note under the table that says, I recognize you and you're a valuable member of our team. So Kouzes and Posner developed this theory through lots of research and studying, and it's a very easily understood model, again, but it's crucial that all 5 of these practices are a part of your team and a part of any team in order for it to then be successful. So if we understand what we have to offer, which practices we're naturally good at, we can then better pick our team or identify people on our team to help us meet those goals that we're trying to meet. Again, leadership is both intrapersonal and interpersonal. And so there is work to be done with others. And so if we understand how to reach that fullest potential on the Wi-Fi signal, we can understand the ripple effect that we have. When we drop in, what is the impact going to be on the rest of our team? What are we bringing and what do we need from others? And so here, this quote here from Maya Angelou, I think sums up leadership in many, many ways in terms of working with others. And that ultimately, people will never forget how you made them feel. And if you make them feel empowered and if you make them feel valued by understanding what it is that you can bring to the table and understanding what it is that you need, I think our teams can be so much more successful. I'd like to close by reading a story that is, it's an unknown author, and it's written on a tomb in Westminster Abbey, on a tomb of a bishop. And so the story is called Start With Yourself. When I was young and free and my imagination had no limits, I dreamed of changing the world. As I grew older and wiser, I discovered that the world would not change. So I shortened my sights somewhat and decided to change only my country. But it too seemed immovable. As I grew into my twilight years, in one last desperate attempt, I settled for changing only my family, those closest to me. But alas, they would have none of it. And now, as I lie at my deathbed, I suddenly realized if I had only changed myself first, then by example, I would have changed my family. From their inspiration and encouragement, I would have been better able to change my country, and who knows, I may even have changed the world. Thank you very much.